everyone, Philippa Lee here with vlog 2 of Hidden Mysteries Unveiled. So this is a live video that I'll also put up on YouTube afterward. It's just a quick one. I'm going to pin it to the top here, and this is the story of Bob. I'm going to flip the camera around in a sec and I'm going to show you Bob. So I'll just pin this to the top. There we go. Alright, I'm going to get Bob out. Now this was really cool. For those of you who don't know me, I have a website, thespiritualtourist.com.au, and I'm a clairvoyant medium, and I've been taking photographs of the afterlife and putting them out there on posts, and they're getting claimed. So this is the story of Bob, a fellow from World War II. It's 1:1 p.m. So I'm near Sydney, Australia, but these will be able to be accessed definitely on replay. They're going to be sort of quicker stories. I'm going to flip you around and show you him here. Okay, so what happened? Show you the picture. There he is. So what happened was I was having a day off from the afterlife last week, and I said, as a joke, out loud, you can go with, you can all wait outside the front gate today because I'm having a day off. And I took a picture of the sky later that afternoon, and there was nothing up in the sky. And then I looked at the picture afterwards, a few of them, and here was this man. Hi, Dee. There he is. And my husband took a comparison. Quite a few. He doesn't necessarily call in the afterlife though. He's not afraid of it, but he, see if I have the comparison. No, I didn't put the comparison in the folder, unfortunately, but that's okay. I'm going to do a post afterward with this and a link to this video. So there he is. And you can see the glasses. There was a few comments on what people saw. Love you to all look for what that might be in your life. Okay, and then there's the glasses. And there he is. So that's Nicola, one of the Watchers' grandfather. He passed in 2010. I've had some more information from her on comments, which you can see quite transparently there on my Facebook, The Spiritual Tourist. Unfortunately on YouTube we can't do picture posts, but you can watch this. So just to backtrack a bit, there was a picture I had that I put up of the sky. And a watcher commented that in this bit here, this is before the picture I got of Bob, that there was a bomber in there. You see it there? The tail. There's the engine there on the side. So that was what a watcher noticed, and I just took a mental note around that. And then Nicola sent us a bit more about Bob, because he was in World War II. And this is one of the planes that he flew. So I'm not sure if Nicola's on, but she'll be able to watch this and interact later, because I've got a special surprise, which I'll talk about in a sec. It's the feature of why I'm doing this video. So there's the bombers. So that was interesting, and that was a few weeks before this one here turned up. Now how interesting, this is outside my front gate, and cheeky Bob. You can see his balding hair there. There we go. Now the family is still getting a picture they think this is actually directly of, which is one that was used in the back of the flyer or the pamphlet for his wake, I believe, or funeral. There's a comment there on one of the posts about it. And they're tickled pink. He was the grandfather that was always the wise one and so on, so they miss him very much. We're in 2019 now, so 9 years he's been passed. Doesn't seem to matter how long people have passed for in regard to the afterlife. People say to me, well, what's the message? And look, I will hold off on that from a sec and tell you that his name did come up. So let's find my comment here. So I commented, no probs, Bob. I kept hearing that, okay? And I said that to Nicola. And kept hearing the word Bob, okay? And then she's written back and said that he was known as Bob. Just a sec. So he was known as Bob. She said if I ever talk to him, look, I don't generally talk to them when you're not present or there's not a purpose to it. There's a lot to see in the 5D, I'm calling it. I've joined the 5D wagon, or the awakening and seeing more in between 3D objects that's there. And so he's in World War II and flew the bomber planes there. So what was also interesting is back ages ago, even, I don't know when this was, I think it was, I've got the original post here, I think it was May 25th. Yeah, I was having a play with sunglasses and this fellow here got claimed by a different person, but I want you to notice some things up in here and circled it for us, Kelly. And I've got hers here. So look, I'm clairvoyant. I see these things anyway. It's probably a bit hard to see, and like I said, I'll do a post about this if you want to go to my Facebook, Philippa Lee, the Spiritual Tourist, and I'll put that up later today. But in here I saw a group of people and a plane behind them. Okay? And I see 3 there and then also a group. And I commented about the 1940s in regard to this original post on 25th of May to do with the sunglasses. We had another overlay of that where 3 sisters were claimed. This is what I see anyway, so I'm just loving this accident that happened to do with watchers noticing things behind me on a window when I was doing live videos to do with giving you free readings at the time. I'm now going to let the photos speak for themselves because this is blowing my mind that anyone can see this. Anyone can see Bob here. I haven't had anyone not be astonished by this. It's not like I go around knocking on doors, but I've been talking to a lot of people about it. Hi, Donna. A few shocked faces there. So this isn't just for Nicola, this is for Nicola and her family, but this is for all of us. I'm stoked that I can show you this, what I see anyway. I've been validating this with readings in the past, with personal readings and describing people. I can't draw, unfortunately, or do graphic design that well, but this takes care of a lot of work of translating what I've been seeing as a clairvoyant. So what's the message? What's the message from them? Okay, apart from quite a few validations there and a few more to show you, what is the message from the afterlife to us all? And it's that, look, originally this was the afterlife's idea. We had Mavis, who was well validated from the live videos by accident. And it's that there is an afterlife. Look, at some point and someday we'll all be going back home is how I call the afterlife. It's such an overwhelmingly loving place that it's such an emotion around nature and life and death that I've even quit readings for right now because it's such a, just to be that human everyday person and be in people's stories like that is too close for me and too many. So this is going to actually enable this shift of mind. So don't be sad I've quit that because it'll enable you to watch me. We're going to do a lot of just even open live videos, probably on YouTube, just in my office, even when I'm not in the office, just see what comes up because I do believe you can all access this for yourselves. So that's where I'm taking this, which I just love. Okay, so I've got a website if you want to have a look. If you're interested, I'm doing some meditations upcoming. They'll be only a few dollars each. So I'm hearing a lot of music. As I said, I see things Anyway, I'll put the link up that afterwards, and there's a lot of free stuff as well. So I want to just tell you a bit more about, oh gosh, this blows me away. So let's look at what I talked about just earlier, where we had this one here with the sunglasses. As I said, there was 3 people that I perceived, and then a group. If you can see the little heads there. And I thought it was a plane behind there, and the 1940s. And that's what I picked up at that point. I was just on a Sunday, I wasn't really in mode, but I did think those things and see them, and thought, well, I'll put it out there. I wondered about military. We kept overlaying between what I originally looked at, which was a Google picture of 3 men here, just from the 1940s. I Googled 1940s. So to me it was different hats and so on, but that's what I originally got. I did say that in a live video once, but look at this. So this is an article that Nicola linked us to. Look at that. I can't get rid of this, unfortunately. It's obviously got a copyright, but that's fine. We'll give them a plug. Look at that. And there's a group as well. She talked about him whistling when I first got here, and my mum and partner, my husband, remember this. I kept hearing whistling, like someone in the shed, and I thought it was the fellow who used to live here, but we think it's Bob now, because Nicola talked about him whistling. So there we go. And we had the one in the sky that a watcher saw. So I love you all commenting. Look, no one's ever wrong. It'll either turn up or it'll be for you. I promise you, imprints are sometimes Bruce Lee for me because I watch him a lot. It's not Bruce Lee visiting me from the afterlife. It's just an imprint quite often. I saw a cat in my lounge room at 2 a.m. I said to quite a few people, you know, what's this cat about? And is it the afterlife or something's going to happen? At 2 a.m. lately, when I go out and film the sky and the moon and so on, I've had this cat stalking me. Turns out it's that cat. Did it see me and then think about me and project into my lounge room by accident? So it's a more visual form of telepathy, I believe, as well, going on, as well as the afterlife. So let's see what else I need to show you around that. Okay, so let's get to the EVP. This is the surprise. This is the big surprise, and this will be really cool for Nicola, because she'll have heard his voice before, and we can perhaps get a validation from her. What I've found is it's very difficult to remember someone's voice compared to the visual, because we don't then hear them again unless we've had a message from them and so on. And a lot of people don't replay that. Look, I've read over 50,000 people, so I've talked to people about this a lot. And so, look, we'll see if Nicola can remember his voice, but I have a EVP. Hubby and I, oh gosh, okay, I'll leave Bob up while I tell you this. Hubby and I had, where we were setting up, just in the car, thinking we'll take some EVP and get some images and just ask the orbs to come in. We didn't know what orbs were at this point. Look, I suspected they were spirits and thoughts and other things floating around in the 5D, the 5th dimension, or the other side, some call it, so what's beyond the physical vision. And we got this accidental EVP, which is electronic voice print, and it was when we were setting up the cameras. There's nothing really to look at, so I'll just show you the sound, and it's something where there was a whole sentence, and it sounds a bit like a pilot. Now we re-listen today. It sounds like a pilot transmission, and it was very odd because it was just this thing that came over the sound, and I always review every bit of footage just in case, so I even looked at that rubbish then when we're setting up. We got a couple of orbs that night later, but look, I'm just going to do the EVP, and it wasn't a detailed orbs we got, but we did get some activity as well that evening. And this was December 2017. So I'm going to play you the cleaned up version first. Now, the thing that's the kicker for me on this, which I'll tell you first, is that we figured out, I had a conversation with my mother after listening to the fixed up and cleaned up version from my husband, who's looking at, you know, he's not professionally trained, but you can clean up sound a little bit, do noise reduction and a couple of other things, get the crackle out of things. doesn't technically change what's underneath. Okay, so it's a pretty accurate way to look at it. We don't speed up or slow down the voice print, which is basically a voice that isn't physically there that comes onto an electronic device and is recorded. And slowing it down or speeding up the voice can actually change the words. So we don't do that. If it's good enough to pull out, we bother. Now, he spent hours on that, and but we identified the accent because my mum's from New Zealand. She's now got an Australian accent, but we thought it might be a relative. We didn't know who this was, and so we figured out it was South Island, New Zealand. Okay, so we were sure of that. It's a South Island New Zealander, and Bob is from Christchurch, which is in the South Island of New Zealand. So let's look at the article, because it was quite famous that she sent in about him and the bombers that match the Watch You Find in the Sky pic. A Christchurch man, and she mentioned him from Christchurch in a comment as well. So let's listen to who I think is Bob from 23rd of December 17. It's a little bit squeaky at the beginning. You're going to have to put up with that. I'm going to play you the fixed up version first. Okay. All right. This one. Now, I don't know if you know a New Zealand accent, but I think it says hey at the beginning. I'll play it again. After the squeaky, it's only 7 seconds long, so probably 4 seconds of talking. Now, we'll put a copy of this on a post so you can access it directly. You can clean it up if you want or make it all downloadable. But I think it says, and my family think it says, hey, I'll stand forth with you on your birthday. I looked up the phrase stand forth, and it was a World War II term to do with I'll stand by you, beside you. It's such a personal message. We couldn't find it. It was none of our relatives. It didn't match anybody. Very much South Island. We have relatives from Christchurch. We did identify Christchurch. So play it for you again. And then I'll play the raw version without any sort of noise clean-up. We've got a lot of phrases, but this is the only one we could pull out to mean anything. Could say stand forward as well. And again, that's the term used in World War II. So all that day of work in 2017 in December paid off now, because I really think that's Bob. We're starting to find things all over the place to do with stuff in the now and who's watching now, and people I didn't even have on my Facebook before who found me more recently. So one more, then we'll do the raw. Hear the birthday at the end? One more time, he's New Zealander. I don't know how to do the accent, but that's New Zealand and South Island as well. We YouTubed, we looked at accents, we asked Mum, yeah, because she's the native from there, and no doubt about it. Listen again, and that last word, birthday. Yeah, wow. All right, now the raw version I have to turn down because it's very loud, and it sort of shocked me when I first heard it. I think I turned it down to 15, 20. All right, listen to the raw. I don't know if I got the volume right. Oh, okay, this is the other one. Sorry about that. That's one that, yeah, okay. The raw is longer. So that's that same phrase. Let's listen again. I'll turn it up a bit. I don't want to shock you. Because when I was listening to this, I had it up all the way and it was like, wow, what was that? Sounds like a transmission to me. So there you go. I'll cut out that just that bit and maybe the squeak off the front for you for a post. We'll see how we go for time. And we'll look at that other EVP, just the shorter one. So do tell me what you hear, okay, to do with that. I'll play it just a couple more times. Love any feedback. This just blows my mind and my heart, and to know that there's more and so many questions. I'd like to know, I got a couple of questions. How can we do this in regard to a direct connection? Excuse me, to do with calling in somebody specific perhaps and having a try at this live. I've got all sorts of mind-blowing things I'm going to look at and do even some overnight lives on YouTube. Doing a live video helps me actually able to save the video. If I did this video as a mini vid without the live aspect, I'd actually have a very huge file that I can't work with to then cut these stories up and show them on other platforms. And what I'm doing is the Afterlife have asked me to show you that it's real. There's nothing to fear. People can have all sorts of questions. Oh, is it my time? No. Look, I'm able to see these things anyway, and I believe that you can too. So check out my website. I'll put it up after, thespiritualtourist.com.au, with some things up already, and what you can do for your own pictures to do that is you can ask the other side to show itself, the love realms, okay? So no, we don't want the fear realms of the imprints showing for you, and in that space of love, take some pictures, see what comes up. I'm creating a new VIP area, which will be less than Netflix each month, and current students to do with my awakening course have already been offered that as part of that, but I am offering that upcoming probably later this week, and then you can give me your pictures and I'll read them, and we'll really get into that with just the qualifier of that small offering each month for me to continue doing that type of in-depth content with you of my time. So I'm really excited about that and the things that have led to that. But look, I'll leave it there. Let's look at Bob to finish. I can't wait to hear from Nicola about the EVP. I think I played it enough. I just get so excited. So I've already been on a while. Check out the website. I'll put it up now. And if you're on YouTube later on, I'll put that up on the description there as well. Goodbye for now. I'll flip you around and say bye. Namaste. And giving you much love and light. See you next time.